we did some justice to it, and just to refresh our memories back, we made some explanations, we made some point on what bad debt can cause, the implication, the consequences. So just to refresh everybody's memories, I will let me just say one or 2 points. Like I said last week, I said bad debt, costs you money. It also encourages you to spend more than what you can bear. And also, we talk about accumulated interest. And finally, we mentioned that it gets from your future pay. We make a lot of explanation on that. So this week we are going to continue our topic on bad debt implication and consequences, and we would go further, telling you what other things bad debt cause, the causes, the implication rather, and the consequences. So going forward, another implication bad debt brings about is its prompt pressure or stress and many other medical or serious issues. When you are in debt, you tend to have a lot of more pressure on you. Basically, you might not even think straight. You'll be having a lot of pressure, worries, burden in your heart and your mind, and all you're going to be after is you just want to clear this debt. You just want to pay off this money. Bad debts, when it happens, it takes away your peace, and when you don't have peace of mind, trust me, one way or the other, it's affecting your health. You might not know, but that's just the truth. Because instead of you thinking straight on how to get more money to benefit yourself, you'll be thinking on how to get money to pay debts, while you are still thinking on how to get money to sort other bills. So I need you to have this at the back of your mind, that it's not just about you going into that debt. It's not just about you borrowing that money. It's about you also putting into consideration other factors that bad debt, that this debt can come with, other factors that you might not see physically. Apart from the embarrassments, those are physical things you might see, the text messages, the calls that you will see. Trust me, it can affect your mental health. It can affect your well-being. So we also went further saying that, when you now start having medical issues, that's when you start having ulcer, you can't afford money to eat, you're paying your debt because you need to clear it because of embarrassment. You don't want issues, and then it leads to depression. Yes, I've seen quite a number of people that were into debt and they ended up being depressed so much that before they could get out of it, it took them time. So our dear viewers, I'm going to give a little advice on this aspect. Please and please, if you're going to go for any financial aids, loans, from friends, from banks, from anybody out there, think about the other side of the whole thing before you go into it. It's not just about you getting the money to sort the problem you want to sort at that moment. It's about you thinking ahead, thinking beyond that moment, that okay, what if I can't get this money paid? Will I be able to stand it? Do I think I have the strength? Do I think I have the mind to stand it at that moment? So also, we also said that bad debts, holds you back from arriving your financial goal. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you have a target for yourself. You set a target that, okay, at the end of December 2022, I really want to have $1 million in my account. And let's say at the beginning of February that year, you started paying debt. So ask yourself the question, are you sure you can actually meet that target, that plan, by December of you having $1 million? Because you need to put into the consideration that you have bills to service, you have loans to pay, and you have families and friends that will call you for urgent 2K. I know you know what I'm talking about. So for you to have your plans work out well, you really need to put it into consideration before going into it. You can't just set a target and you won't meet at the end of the of the day. So while you are going into a loan or or anything that you want to do that might actually cost you not meeting your target, you really need to think about it 2 times. So bad debt does not just only take your health from you. Like when I mean take your health from you, like does not really have much weight on your health, your mental health. It also affects your financial goals, your plan, your dreams, because if you plan to build a house before the end of the year and in your account you still have billions of nairas you are paying as debt, that means you will keep on getting money on debt upon debt. And mind you, I said it last week. I said one mistake that many people make is using debts to pay debts. It's not proper. It's not done. And also, okay, another point I have with me, bad debts can affect your family, your marriage, your home. How? This is simple. It's a simple logic. For example, now we are in September, schools are resuming, and for a family man, you're servicing debt. You need to have it at the back of your mind that schools resume this month. Your children, or let's say whosoever you're responsible for, would need some basic needs like clothing, like education materials and the likes like that. So at the end of the day, you have additional pressure on you, and let's say your spouse, she's not working, so it now boils down to you as the family man trying your everything in your power to raise money for school fees, for feeding, for educational materials, and even at the same time yourself, you need to go to work, you need to eat. You have parents out there waiting for you to be like, okay, mommy, daddy, I have this for you at the end of the month. You have a lot of pressure. So it is not going to boil down to your family, because at that moment it is very possible that you will start reacting with annoyance, like you getting angry easily, and then the other partner might not really understand that, okay, why are you getting angry, why did you get flare up any little thing. They should just ask you, daddy, wow, we need 5,000 naira to buy this thing, and then there's, I don't have money, I don't, all this kind of attitude. It is quite understandable for someone who is in debt to react like that. But for you not to get yourself in that mess, for you not to put yourself in that position, so you really need to think about it before your debt becomes bad. If you're already in debt, like you're servicing debt, you're servicing loans, you have some financial payments, bills you need to sort. If you're already servicing it, you really need to take it slow, calm down, sit your partner down, talk to him or her about it, and both of you can come to an agreement with one understanding. And I'm very certain that there's going to be a solution to that problem. But putting pressure on yourself, trust me, is never going to solve it. It's just going to affect your marriage, because at the end of the day, your other partner might get frustrated, and getting frustrated, getting depressed, and issues like that goes out of control and leads to family separating, because you say, hey, your father cannot afford my school fees, your father cannot afford my taking care of my bills. At the end of the day, the other partner does things that are unpleasant, and when another party is hearing it, it becomes a family problem, and it can break a home. So for you to save your family, for you to protect your home, think about it before you go into that loan, that debt. Think about it. You really just need to think about it. And for those of you out there that are already servicing loan, just keep it slow. I understand how this can feel. I know how pressure this can bring on you, your mental health, your personal well-being, your right state of mind. I understand. The only thing you can do at this moment is confide in your spouse. If you're married, confide in your spouse. If you're not, confide in someone that is trustworthy and close to you, someone that understands how debt managing can be, a debt analyst, and they can help you, find a solution to clear off the debts as soon as possible. So that And on the last point, which is a key point here, what bad debt implication and consequences brings about is, it can damage your credit score. In our previous sections, we've talked about benefits of a good credit score before taking a loan. So you can just go back and check our previous sessions to watch it and listen and pick one or two things. We've talked about practical ways to get out of debt, and we've even talked about understanding financial literacy. We've actually, for those people that are about taking loan, that doesn't even have more understanding on what this bad debt can be, what it means, you really need to understand your financial literacy. And also, if you're already in debt, we had another session for you that talk about practical ways to get out of debt. So now we're talking about credit score. Trust me, bad debts can actually affect your credit score. And if you don't have a good credit score, sincerely speaking, for those people that want to travel out, they check it. For you want to take some financial aid, even to borrow money in bank. For let's say you have someone who needs money urgently, and you had opportunity to get money in bank, and at the long run, they're about to release the money, and they went to check your credit score, and your credit score is so poor, if there's anything like 0.000000, it's so poor. Trust me, you will not get that loan. And even if it's a contract, your credit score is really bad and poor, it's going to make you lose it. So for you not to have a bad credit score, you really need to check yourself. You really need to check and be sure that, yes, this loan I'm going into, what is my plan to pay it? How am I going to pay it? Get a plan A, get a plan B, if possible get a plan C, because the one thing that is constant is change. You really can't say what will happen in the next few minutes. So for you not to fall a victim of start having to pay debt upon debt, start having calls buzzing on your phone, families reaching to you, them calling you fraudsters, this and that, you really need to put it into consideration. And like I said, the more debt you have is going to be compared to your credit points. That's just the truth. If your debt is in billions, trust me, your credit score is odo, like zero. So for you to avoid having that low credit score, because you might not know what you want to use it for, you might not know what you need it. Even when you're going for loans, they'll tell you, get your bank statements. I've seen people that went for jobs and they're about to take them, and then they're asking them for their bank statement. It's not because they want to see how much they are earning every month, but because they want to be sure to know and do more findings on, is this person going to be a fraudster or not. So for you to avoid any embarrassments, any unforeseen circumstances that credit score can bring to your life, because you can't say, you don't know, please and please go and sit right and be sure and be certain. And for those of you that are already servicing debts once again and your credit score is dropping, I'm so sorry, but you really need to work yourself together, clear your debt so that your credit score can come to a level of equilibrium. It can come to a level that is balanced, and you are safe and secure, and you can go anywhere, and they won't be embarrassing you or insulting you any longer. So like I said, if you want to get more information, more details on our previous session, you can just go back, you'll see it. Then we've done a lot of session on credit score. We've done a lot of session on how to manage your debt and the rest like that. So our dear viewers, we come to the end of the session today. I believe you've been able to pick one or two points. I believe you'll be able to learn a lot of things from bad debts and its implication and consequences. So next week you'll be joining us for another great and wonderful session, like I used to say. And please we'd love to hear from you, your questions, your comments, your suggestions, how you want us to get better. Please drop it in the comments box. We'll definitely read them, and then we'll get back to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. My name still remains Oluwatayo Yanoluwalajumoke. Do have a wonderful weekend.